Thank you, everyone. My name is Yossi. I'm here actually to speak about you, about what I assume will be or is the most important thing in your life, which is your health, your family health. And to speak about a very specific revolution that the healthcare industry is going through, and it will accelerate during the next few years. So look at this picture that you see in front of you. It was taken from the Time magazine, and you can see a person's hand which already has an embedded GPS, heart rate monitoring. So you just look like this at his hand and see all the relevant measures about his health, about his whereabouts, and so on. How long do you think we are away from this picture? So usually when I ask this question, people say to me, listen, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 3 years. And I'm saying we are already there because the phone, the smartphone, has already become an extension of our body. So the fact that we hold it and it is not embedded in our body, it's just technical. We use it everywhere. It's part of us already. So good morning, everyone. My name is Yossi. I'm a family physician by my clinical practice. I'm still practicing, but most of my time during the last 10 years, I was in the field of digital health, the interface between technology and medicine. In the next 10 minutes, I will try to persuade you that we are all about to go through one of the most significant revolutions in the history of medicine, every one of us. And it's not about the technology, it's about our experience in the system. So let's start from the problem. The problem is that, and I'm allowed to say it because I'm a physician, physicians provide the recommended care only at about 50% of the time. That's what the literature is saying, unfortunately. At the same time, the patients only listen to their physicians about 50% of the time. And the unfortunate result is that only at 25% of the time, people get the recommended treatment and actually act upon it. I'm sure that all of you are familiar with the situation, and the trends that are happening in parallel today, and I will mention them fastly. Health consumerism, the fact that we all log into Dr. Google and search for any issue we have with our health. The raising costs. These are just the last 6 years, 25% in the global expenditure on healthcare. 25% in 6 years. Everybody understands that this is not sustainable. The burden of chronic disease. Again, all the people sitting here knows about it, but in the big picture, more than 50% of the world population suffers from a chronic disease. The shortage of professional human resources. You are all familiar with the lines, with the waiting times, and so on. And the fact that we all prefer to have a much more personalized medicine. A capsule with our DNA inside. All these trends, from healthcare consumerism to the expenditures, to the shortage of professional human resources, and to our will to have a more personalized care, are converging. They are happening in parallel. And this is the background for digital health. So digital health has two fronts. One for individuals, making us all more empowered, knowing what we have, what our aims are, how do we reach there. And on the other hand, giving medical teams tools to better manage both our health as individuals and the system as a whole. Digital health actually touches every aspect of healthcare, from prevention to improving quality of care, to improving accessibility, to reducing costs. And I will give examples in a few seconds. It also involves all the innovation technologies that were mentioned here during the day, from wearables to big data analytics, to genomics, to artificial intelligence. All these technologies are enablers to the future of our healthcare. The following slides are not vision. All the things that I'm about to show you are already deployed in Israel. And I had the privilege to lead this revolution in Israel, turning the whole Israeli healthcare system from pen and paper to a digitalized one. And again, all the examples are working. They are not screenshots, not future vision. So we started from how do we make patients partners in their own healthcare, or what is in professional language called participatory medicine. Make the patient a partner, make the patient be more responsible to his healthcare. So partnerships start from transparency, letting us, letting you, every one of you, having access to his data. Moreover, explaining this data in a way that we can understand it, that the layman can understand it, and then provide him tools that will enable him to act upon this data in a very transparent and straightforward way. And this participation will create better compliance and better health. So in Israel, all the population, 100% of the population, have access to their personal health record through web and through their smartphone. If something happens to me while I'm in Johannesburg, with 2 clicks, every physician here in Johannesburg can access my full record, my lab results, my ECG testing, my last X-ray, everything through my smartphone. So this is the C component of the partnership. The no component of the partnership, so every lab results and every examination is accompanied by an explanation written in layman's language that explains to you what this test means for you personally and gives you recommendations on what you need to do. So for example, if a woman has a family history of breast cancer, she will be notified to do her mammography when she's 35 years old. And if she doesn't have a family history of breast cancer, she will notify to do it only when she's 50. So the recommendations are completely personalized. We added another tool, so we covered in brief what the patient can see, what the patient should know, and what the patient can do. Every citizen in Israel has online access through remote video conference to consult various physicians in various expertise. The example that you are seeing now is in pediatrics. So when the clinics are closed, instead of going to the emergency room, the first line of care is through your web and through your smartphone. And what this intervention created, you can see the numbers on the screen. And they speak for themselves. If you look at a cool blood test, which is an early diagnosis of colon cancer, people who got this intervention were 4 times more likely to go and do the test. 30% of more patients going to do their yearly eye exam when they are diabetic. I don't know if you know that, but diabetes is the #1 cause for blindness, and so on. If you look at what the remote care module created, almost 12,000 e-visits each month from over 900 locations. You can see how it's spread all across the country. And the amazing thing is, it reduced the unnecessary emergency room visits by 47%. Leave aside the quality of care, leave aside the convenience. Think about the financial impact of this module. Recently, we added another component to this model. So when a physician meets you over the web, you can ask yourself, okay, so how can he check me up? He only sees my face. So this Israeli startup, developed a tool that enables me as a physician to check you up no matter where you are. So patients have this at home, this device, which is called Taito, and through this device, they can perform tests, like when you go to the office, if you have cough, the mother puts it on the child's chest, it automatically records the heart and lung sounds and sends it to your physician. Again, this is not science fiction. It's working currently in Israel. Same way with earache. So instead of going to the physician, scheduling a visit, waiting for the results, coming for a follow-up, if the child has an earache, the mother simply puts it inside his ear. It automatically knows where it is, knows to identify the inner ear, take the picture, send it to your physician, and if need, the physician can prescribe you through the same system the prescription. And same with regards to the throat. You know, in China, there are almost 500 million with prediabetes. In the US, 86 million. In Europe, 63 million. Diabetes is the #1 cause for myocardial infarction, for CVA, for blindness, for amputation. So a company, again, example from Israel, developed these platforms that, based on big data analytics, knows to predict who will become diabetic and when. If it will happen in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. And based upon that, offer an artificial intelligence-based intervention that in early clinical trials proved to reduce the conversion between prediabetes to diabetes by 58%. No human intervention, artificial intelligence-based system. Another example, medical imaging. So currently, radiologists test every image. This platform, which is already available, you can upload your CT and an automatic algorithm will analyze the CT and give you a second opinion, which is enlarged more accurate than the average diagnosis. Speaking about funding, because this is always closes the loop. In 2016, more than $8.5 billion were invested in digital health in the US alone. In 2016, 136 exits worth together $6.8 billion in the US alone. And I want to end my presentation with 2 slides of a patient of mine. She allowed me to present it. And if this will be the message that you will take from this speech, I will be really happy. Because many times people think that e-health or digital health is about technologies, and no, it's not. It's about us. It's about our behavior. It's about how we react to interventions. It's about our compliance. So this patient of mine has a chronic disease named rheumatic arthritis. And she has this shirt that says, "I am E." Excuse me. And this "I am E" in a different context, you would have thought that she's saying that she's very technology-oriented, that she tweets, that she uploads pictures to Instagram, and so on. But what she actually means, and this is what is written on the back of her shirt, that she's educated and enabled and engaged and electronic and expert and equipped and empowered and expressive. And the E of e-health is not about the E of technology. It's an E about the empowered patient. I will end with that. This is an article from the most prestige medical journal named the New England Journal of Medicine. And this article tells the story of Kodak, a company that after 131 years closed its gates because of a young company composed of 2 people launched Instagram. And what is written here is that physicians and doctors and hospitals and pharmaceutical companies that will understand the business that they are really in, defined by what we, the customers, seek, will leave the doctors and hospitals that don't, captured in a Kodak moment. And this is what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. Organizations that will understand and adapt to be patient-centric will survive. And those who don't will have the fate of Kodak. Thank you very much for your attention. And I welcome you all to join us in investing in a healthier humanity. Thank you.